Whoa! Look at that! Isn't that just amazing? I'm so happy with how this turned out. And I just can't wait to show you guys what I made. In this episode, we're going to be doing lots of coaster track building, as well as some theming. We're going to be making lots of fishes and plants and minerals, as well as building the coaster track. We're going to be building a launch section, as well as a really cool this thing. I don't know what it's called. Yeah, let's just dive in. Blub, 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 blub. I am a fish. I am a fish. Blub, 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 blub. I am a fish. I am a fish. I mean, this is what it sounds like underwater. More accurate. Such realism. Let's be honest here. We could really use some new fish and some plants and all that sort of stuff. So before we even start, let's make some props. And I've got a really cool idea of what we can make. If you've played the game, you're gonna love this. The first thing that I made was the classic Subnautica fish, a peeper. Then I was going to make a bone shark. Not a boner shark, a bone shark. Look at his teeth. Oh, other than that, I think it looks pretty good. Good enough for me. And then I made a crash fish. I hate these fish in the game. Yeah, in the game, these fish swim at you and they explode and they do a lot of damage. So yeah, not a nice fish. This is a gasopod. I call it the fish that's always stoned. Look at his eyes. It's pretty much a fish that wears a gas mask because it's always secreting toxic gas. Very nice. Then we have the Jedi, one of the most majestic creatures in the Subnautica verse. I mean, my version is not as majestic, but it will do. Then we have the spadefish. Nothing really interesting. They taste pretty good. Poor spadefish. And then we have the blood crawler. I hate him. I hate him so much. It's pretty much a nipple with 4 legs. It's a horrible looking creature. Then it was time to build a couple of plants that you can find back in the game. So this is a creep vine that I'm building here. It's pretty much a big tall water plant. Like you can find it in the kelp forest. And then also I made a mushroom tree. Yeah, that's particularly found in the mushroom biome. Very nice. Another really big thing of the game Subnautica is the collection of resources. It's pretty much an underwater survival game. So you collect resources on an alien planet, and the thing I'm making now is lead. This is what the lead resource look like. And this is pretty much what a magnite resource looks like. It's pretty much a little rock with some pyramids on it. And by collecting these resources, you can build all sorts of underwater survival equipment. Now the other thing that you also really want to collect in the game is scrap metal pieces, which is pretty much what I'm making here. Just a pile of random metal objects that will function as scrap metal. Very nice. Or metal salvage, same thing. The other thing I was also wanting to make, what a big part of the game is collecting a resource called quartz. Because we didn't have crystals in the game, I used these coaster support pieces and I turned them slightly like light ice blue. Worked quite nice for quartz. Now there were a couple more resources that I needed to make. This is what a titanium resource looks like. You can find this in the game as well. Quite useful. And also a diamond resource. These are quite rare, you can find them pretty much really deep in the depths of the ocean. And there also was a ruby, which is pretty much the same, but just red. Here's pretty much a summary of everything we just made. So here we have the mushroom tree. As you can see, there are 2 variants and they're very tall. And here we have the creeper vines, also 2 variants, one smaller and a lower one. This is the sea moth made in episode 1. We've got the bone shark, gasopod, jelly ray, the blood crawler, peeper, spadefish and the crash fish. They're all quite the same accurate sizes as in the game. Then we have lead ore, we got magnite, metal salvage, quartz deposit, titanium, diamond and ruby. These are all the props that I made for my blueprint, and it's really going to help me lay everything out. But Book, you have done no building whatsoever. Just do something, I'm so bored. Alright, let's go and build some track and continue our coaster design layout. This is just obviously temporarily, and I change things based on what my scenery looks like and where I'm placing my scenery, which is very important. I always build my scenery and my coaster track at the same time, so that you're not going to get any silly layouts and stuff like that. As you can see here, I'm also bringing in a moving sea moth, which is the little submersible, and that's going to just move around the corner when the coaster approaches, just so that there's some life underwater. I don't want underwater to just be coral. It needs to have fish and also some animated pieces. I mean, if you dive in the ocean, nothing is still anyway. Everything is always moving. I want to recreate that. Here the coaster arrives, it twists to the right and then looks at the submarine approaching. We really needed to get some fish in there, so I decided to put some peepers, some of these fish that I made before, on a moving platform, 2 different ones, swimming in 2 different directions, that just swim across from the submarine. So I just put them down there, and then obviously had to synchronize everything. Once the whole shebang was synchronized, I chucked down some rocks. I don't know why I'm talking like this. Then I also sunk in some like sea lettuce. I don't know what it's called. But I thought these bushes work really well. And I placed down a creeper vine and brought the whole thing together with some coral. Looking nice so far. And then the other thing I did, which you don't really see in here, but I changed the color of the bottom rocks to a slightly sandy looking color. Then the next thing I was going to do is install a launch section. I want the coaster to exist of 2 sections. One section which is the first drop track to the launch, and then a first bit of track leading up to the main event, which I'll talk about later. And then the second section is everything after the main event. So there's probably two launches in here, and it's gonna be a decent sized coaster as well. So obviously I had to make the launch and then build the first section of basic track. So I had the launch going up, and then as the car is all the way up on the top of that hill, I don't know if there's a name for this element. Let me know what it's called, because I have no idea. So yeah, and then I'm bringing back and going under the moon pool, and then coming up to the front of the station. So yeah, this is what it looks like for now. Then it was time to work on the launch section of the coaster. And I had a really cool idea on how I want the coaster to launch. I wouldn't want it to just sit still and then launch forward. Something obviously needed to happen. So I thought, let's get attacked by one of the bone sharks. But also have some other fish swim away from the bone shark. So here you see me animate some of the fish in different directions. I'm just playing around with how they move, on different tracks. So once I've done that, I pretty much place down one of these pink shields so that I get a good idea of where the vehicle stops, and to make sure that there's no collision of the fish or the bone shark attacking. I then place down a couple more rocks, and I grab some of these minerals that I made to put them down for you to look at when you arrive at this scene. This is really how it looks like in the game, a little bit then. There's different biomes and they all look differently, but you get the idea. I wanted the launch section to be entertaining and not boring. Then I further enhanced the launch section by placing down more rocks and some other details and some minerals as well that we made before. It's looking really good so far and it's coming together quite nicely. Then on the other side, after you exit the launch hill, you come back in and I started working on that section, placing down some rocks. And I wanted this to be some kind of cave, because in Subnautica the game you've got lots of caves as well. And they're always covered with pink shrooms and all sorts of stuff like that. So I really wanted it to look like when you approach a school of fish or like a couple of fish just swim away, which will make your which will allow you to enter the cave. Pretty much something like this. I'm putting down the fish and they just swim away as you approach. And then I finished it all off with some coral on the outside and the inside. Now the coaster cars approach, the fish swim away, and you make your way out. Very nice. A really big part of this game is also building an underwater base. And now I've created the moon pool, but I've not have a base yet. So I wanted to build a little base section in my blueprint as well, which I wanted it to be accessible through the moon pool. So after installing the first door or the first walkway, I started expanding on it and built a little base section with glass windows. And that was kind of the idea, to have it just there and have you go underneath and around. The whole idea of the game, in the game, is you go get the resources from underwater, then you go back into your base, and then you're gonna build the stuff that you need to have to progress in the game, and then you're gonna go out again and progress through the map. So yeah, here's the little underwater base section. And then obviously, what is a cool base without having a good view, good underwater view? So I built a second floor on it and turned the walls into glass, and yeah, it just looks so much better like this. I will end up spending some time in the end on doing the decoration on the inside, but for now I'm just putting on the second floor and a ladder or something like that, and some outside decoration. I then spent a little bit of time on designing the next section of the coaster track, and I wanted it to come in front of the blueprint here, where you enter the blueprint or you enter the ride. So I'm bringing it down and then making it come back up and hop over the queue, so that there's at least some guest interaction, which is really nice in my opinion. Now after I bring it all the way back up, I've got a little right, left hand, downwards momentum thingy-majiggers. I have no idea what all these terms are for these coasters. I love building coasters, but I don't really understand the names of the elements. Anyway, I'll make it come up and then go straight on top of these rocks here, and then in the next episode we're going to be building our main event there. So there's going to be a big base there, and we're going to have a Reaper Leviathan attack the base. So it's super exciting. I I then did a little bit more detailing and did a little bit of building on this building that you are exiting the queue. Well, this queue building, I don't know what the name is. Little underwater base building. So I just finished that because I didn't get to finish that in the first episode. This is what we have so far. Then it was time to start working on the front of the building. And this side of the building is very important because this is what you'll be looking at when you enter the roller coaster. Like the station right up there, the moon pool. So it's important to have this very nicely themed and polished and have the rock work look nice and natural. And currently that's not the case. So I applied these sandy looking stones again. And then blend in the queue into the rock work much better so that it looks a little bit more natural. This is what it looks like for now. I think it's very important to have the entrance as lively as possible, which means I was going to have to animate some fish, and that's exactly what I'm doing right here. I put these peepers on an animation piece that just swim around a rock. And then also I really wanted to have a gasopod just kind of floating around. So I made an animation like this. I think it looks pretty good. Yeah, put that down as well. And then I installed one of these bloody blood crabs. Blood crawlers. Bastard. Next one. I put down the spadefish on the little animatronic. And that just pretty much comes in and out and swims above the queue, kind of there. Yeah, this is what I also placed down some minerals, as you see before. This is what it looks like. Whoa, that was intense. I don't know about you guys, but that's not how I sound on the toilet. Unless I've had too much fiber. Anyway, it was time to put a little bit more detail around the queue. So I'm just putting down some rocks. And then I'm covering the tube, I don't know what it's called, with some rocks. And then I'm redoing the pathing so that it can wrap around here. I always lay the pathing down in a straight line, but I always end up changing it because it really depends on what I want the queue to look like and where the sign is going to go. Then I was going to make the sign, and the sign pretty much says Subnautica. Well, first I made it Subnautic Experience, but then I just renamed it to Subnautic because I thought the name was a little bit too long. And Experience, that's a bit stupid. So I just called it Subnautic. So then I placed it down on an angle on the rocks that I just made. And then I also had a sea moth that I really wanted to have at the entrance. So by changing the letters a little bit, creating some ground, I bring in the sea moth, and then yeah, that was pretty much the entrance done. It's looking really good. And then I redid the pathing at the front, and I wanted it to swirl in and out of this cool coaster feature that you go up and then come back down again. Then after I did that, I started placing down some rocks. I really wanted the guests to feel immersed in the Subnautica verse, so by doing this, you'll really have to work with height, which is what I'm doing here. So when you look up, you have got all sorts of scenery, and then when you look to the left and the right, you're like engulfed in terrain. So that's kind of what I'm making here, making sure that when you walk around, you feel immersed in the blueprint and not just the pathing and then blueprint. So yeah. Then I really wanted to introduce some height, so I place down some rocks and bring up the pathing slightly so that you can walk on the rocks here. Height is another one of those things that nothing has to be flat. Why do most creations are flat? If you want to bring your that was unexpected. If you want to bring your blueprint to life, nothing ever is flat. That's a controversial statement, but yeah, incorporate some height. It will really bring everything together much better, and you can feel more immersed. I really wanted to make the coaster pass through a part of this structure, being the reason why I put some coral and some rocks down here. But this is the end result. I'm so happy with this. I then finished my structure by placing down some more random rocks, as you can see here. A good tip is pausing your coaster car at the point where it's going to be close to scenery, so that you make sure that there's no clipping when you ride the car, which is exactly what I'm doing here. I paused the game and I start building around my coaster car. Another good tip is to, when you make an overpass, to pause the game and place down an entertainer. This way you can see what about the height of the guests will be without having guests around, and then you'll be able to build your overpass without them hitting the head. Alright. After all that building, this is the end result so far. As you can see, it's very nice. I'm so happy with the way that this looks. But yeah, let's have a look around. Yeah, so this is the entrance. As you can see, I've got the cool sea moth here and some peepers swimming around, and the name of the ride will be Subnautic. So not Subnautica, just Subnautic. I just thought it fits a little bit better. I don't want to just steal the name, so I'm just calling it Subnautic. And this is kind of pretty much what the logo looks like as well. So we've got all sorts of stuff going on here. So these are all the minerals that we made, which you can actually find in the game. And I placed down some of these minerals here. So you got magnite, some of those quartz, which are very common to find. And then some of these fish. I would still things that look like a dude with a gas mask on. Oh, yeah, it just looks a bit weird, but I don't know how else to make him. So I just gotta leave it like that. And there's a little guy swimming in and out. And then obviously we've got the peepers. And these guys are supposed to also... so they were pretty much swimming here, but I can still animate something up here. Like, it looks really cool. And then we've got this structure, which I'm very happy with. It just looks so natural in my opinion. And I love it when you walk around here. You walk underneath all these corals and all these rocks and stuff. Yeah, I just think it looks quite natural. And I really like that the coaster comes through here, and you've seen them in the cinematics, but I'm gonna make it come through past here anyway. But it's so cool, and it just fits perfectly. And I pretty much hit the coaster supports into this wall. But yeah, look at that. And it rotates here a little bit, so you have a better look down here. So it's a multiverse coaster, so you can angle the ride as well, or you angle the degree that the ride rotates. So here's the back section, so it goes underneath the legs of the moon pool, and here is that little base that I built, and then there's all sorts of stuff happening down here. We've already you've seen a little bit of the POV already, but I'm gonna give you guys a full-on ride right now. Let's walk the queue, and then we pop on the ride. Let's close this thing so that we have it ready for us. So you enter the queue here on the side, And then here you've got Subnautic. Really cool sign, and you go straight into the base. Sorry, I'm super tired. I'm still recovering, but I'm feeling much better today, which is good. Here I still have to make a little some fish, some animations here to look through the window, through the glass. Same here. I still need to make something, but on this side there's a big section of titanium deposit, and you've got yeah, need some more plants, I reckon, especially here. Like, I don't want to see any grass in my blueprint. Yeah, this wall with barnacles is pretty cool. Still, I can make something here. Hey, this is pretty good. Lots of stuff to see. Here you come out here. Oh, I can't believe it. I can't believe I'm yawning this much. So sorry. Sorry, not sorry. So yeah, here we have the entrance again. If you want to see how this is made, check out episode 1. Now, let's jump on this bad boy. Pause it, start. We'll go C2. I like that seat the most. So here we go. It's very nice. I still really like that door. And this drop is still so, I'm so happy with that. As you can see, I used a little bit of the, you got a little fish, and then you've got the bone shark, 2 of them pop up, and then this is, I still need to make all of this stuff, but that's for the next episode, because I've got some cool ideas there, but I need the other track to come back. So as you can see, it's quite smooth. Here we got some of the angles. Yeah. So here we're gonna go in the next episode. We're gonna start building on top of here, as well as some more here, and probably some more here or here, this direction here. I'm wanting to make something that the whole reason why I want to make this ride. And that is, if you've played the game, there is a creature called the Reaper Leviathan. And I want that thing. That thing is notorious for attacking sea moths, which are these little submarines, the ones that I made. So I want to go into a base, an underwater base here or something. And then I want that Reaper Leviathan to attack the base. And then using lots of animations, the whole thing breaks down pretty much. And then you just pretty much escape it. But that's the idea. So the idea is that from here on, probably you enter the base, and then there will be a big base built on top of here. So the coast will shoot up and come back underneath. And we'll do lots of crazy stuff here. And so all these rocks will all be covered, or there will be something on top, so it looks nice. And because currently this is the footprint of the blueprint. You see all these gray areas, this all needs to be nicely incorporated, like this area here, or this area. It's still very bland, but yeah, still lots of things to make. Very exciting. And I can't wait to show you guys what I come up with, because I've got some really awesome idea. I really like this too. Let's go right, left, and a right back up there. So yeah. Oh. Oh. So yeah, that's it for me. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you like it, maybe subscribe. Up to you. If you don't like it, then I don't know, don't watch my videos. Alright, I'll see you all in the next video. Take care, have a good day. Bye bye.